If someone gave you a job to judge humanity off of Instagram and TikTok, what would your assessment be? We travel all the time, we are all happy, and we have zero life problems. None of that is normal, but somehow social media has trained us into believing that that's the truth. Today, we are breaking delusion. These are things that social media has brainwashed us into thinking are normal, but biologically, socially, psychologically, they are not. Number one, flying business class like it's economy. The content we see online makes it seem like everyone travels business class and drinks like champagne at 30,000 feet. But in reality, that's not the norm. In fact, globally, the overwhelming majority of people fly economy, that's if they fly at all. Business class is a small percentage of every airline's total seat number. But then you see on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and even YouTube, they make it seem like flying business is standard procedure. So why is that the case? The answer is simple. Luxury content performs way better, and aspiration is what keeps people watching. Therefore, the algorithm tries to reward those who post such content that keep people on the platform. But the truth is, a rare experience is not somehow framed as a baseline lifestyle. And what that does to people is that you start feeling behind because you fly economy. And something I have to point out is that for most people that fly business or even first class, it's paid for by their job, or they use credit points they have accumulated over like a long period of time from multiple sources. I still insist that flying business class is a luxury of luxuries that most people cannot afford. Even these influencers who fly business all the time, it's mostly paid for by brands. And even the top 1% of the 1% of influencers who make millions every year are not dropping like tens of thousands every month flying round trip on business class. I've even seen cases where influencers were called out for changing outfits like multiple times on a flight, so they have content to post like months after month to make it seem like they fly business all the time. Mind you, I'm not making a judgment whether that is good or bad, but at the end of the day, it's deceptive. But then I can't knock them because that's their business and that's how they make money. So whatever floats your boat. I've also seen people fly economy and then wait until the plane departs and then they go to the business class to take pictures. How embarrassing. Number two, changing your wardrobe every single week. On social media, people seem to have new outfits for every event. Fast fashion and hauls have somehow normalized this constant consumption of clothes. Even platforms like YouTube have amplified the try-on hauls, which is why you see like almost everyone doing that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that for influencers because that's how they make money, but I'm just trying to say that we see that platforms like YouTube have significantly amplified the try-on hauls, which is why we see influencers doing it all the time. But the reality is most people repeat their clothes. In fact, even people who are financially stable repeat outfits. And even historically, people did not own that much clothes, but thanks to fast fashion, we have access to more clothes now. But unfortunately, social media equates you having a new outfit to you being successful. People that have new outfits for every occasion are seen as successful, and those who repeat outfits are not as successful. In fact, we even have a term for it. It's called outfit repeater. What does that even mean? The fact that I repeat an outfit makes me an outfit repeater. That's crazy. Like, honestly, I don't understand that. Calling someone an outfit repeater because they use the clothes that they have is not normal. That's consumer conditioning. We are conditioning people to think that the more they consume, the more successful they seem to us. Best believe if I have any clothes that I like, I repeat that outfit like 1,000 times until I get tired of it. Again, I don't really blame influencers because they tend to go to events and they're photographed constantly, so I can see why they wouldn't want to wear the same outfits all the time. And also, it's not fair when the audience judge whether you're poor or rich based off of the clothes that you wear all the time. So I can see why there's that pressure on influencers to always find new clothes for every event. And for you to be an influencer, you have to be aspirational. So I can see why they have to keep doing something new all the time to keep people inspired. But for everyday people, repeating outfits is normal, and I don't want you to let social media deceive you that it's not. Number three is having an aesthetic friend group. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They have the same body type, they go to the same restaurants, they shop at the same places. Social media has a way of making it look like everyone have a perfectly styled friend group. But that's because social media has turned friendships into branding. It's almost like your friends define you online, so people try to curate like friendships that look like it's perfect all the time. Unfortunately, that is curation, not reality. I've seen people make friends with others based off of looks and not because they're actually good to them. Imagine what a sad life it is to not be able to post your real friends because they don't look aesthetic online, but then you post people who don't have your back because they look aesthetic, whatever that means. It's okay to have friends who are struggling. It's okay to have friends who don't even fit the beauty standards. It's okay to have friends who don't look good online. It's okay to have friends who are just friends and not just props for your social media. It's perfectly okay to make friends based off of their character and not their looks, the way social media tries to portray it. Number four is everyone travels every month. Instagram makes it seem like everyone travels all the time. They're in Paris today, tomorrow they're in London, and then the next day they're in Bali. It's like they make it seem like we all travel all the time. But the reality is, globally, most people do not even travel internationally every year, let alone on a monthly basis. Even for the travel creators, most of them take a single trip and then they film like multiple contents and they post it like back to back to back over the course of months. and make it seem like they're traveling all the time, but that is based off of one trip. What this does to your brain is that it sort of engineers your perception into thinking that people are always somewhere all the time. But the truth is, traveling internationally is very expensive and is something to be cherished and not trivialized. The fact that you see it all the time does not mean that that's the norm for people. People literally go into debt because they're trying to keep up online with their travels. Traveling is a very expensive venture, and most people and families can't even afford it. So even though you see your favorite creator hopping from one country to the other all the time, it's not as simple as that. They have brand deals, partnerships, sponsorships, and multiple avenues of earning which you don't have access to. Number 5, owning luxury items as a milestone of adulthood. Having a Rolex or Richard Mille at 30 should not be a way of you measuring whether you are successful or not. Having designer bags like the Birkins, Lady Dior, the Chanels, and the rest of them should not be a measure of success for you as a woman. Or even living in high-rise apartments. These are things you see online all the time that somehow not distort your reality. At some point, luxury actually used to symbolize elite status, but now it's almost like a normal part of adulthood. Especially with influencer culture, luxury has moved from being rare to now being routine. Like I've always said, I'm not demonizing any of these things or saying that it's bad or good or whatever. All I'm saying is if you can afford it, go for it. But I don't want you to distort the reality and make yourself think that that's the normal way of living. Luxury is called luxury for a reason. Most people cannot afford luxury, and that is perfectly fine. I'm only saying that these items are very expensive and you shouldn't get depressed if you can't afford them. It's only the 1% of the top 1% that can regularly afford to buy all these luxury items on a regular without going broke. So if you're the type to compare yourself to these people online who have all these things I just mentioned, and then you feel like you're behind in life because you can't afford those things, just come off it. That's not normal. Social media has distorted your reality. Most people do not own these items. In line with that, number 6 is also going to be everyone owns a Birkin. That is absolutely not the reality. Birkin bags are very expensive. And let me ask you a question. The fact that you see this all the time online, how many people around you do you see casually pulling up Birkins every single day? Globally, 99.99% of people would never own a Birkin, even though you see influencers, flaunting them casually. But that's because platforms like TikTok and Instagram rewards luxury content because they drive engagement, and it keeps people watching because it inspires people. So what you see is that this algorithm pushes aspirational content to everyone's feed, making rare items feel standard. And what this does is that psychologically, rare items start to feel mundane to you, and you start measuring your life against unrealistic standards. Like I said earlier, social media pushes this item as something that everyone owns, but the reality is, how many times a day do you actually see someone carrying a Birkin in your everyday life? Exactly, these luxuries are not as common as they make it seem. Number 7, being booked and busy 24/7. Everyone has a job, and on top of that, they run a podcast, they have a business, they have multiple sources of income. That is what social media wants you to think is the norm. But the reality is, most people have just one source of income. But online, hustle culture identity, it's so normalized that people who live the normal life feel like they're missing out on something, or as though their life is insufficient. Honestly, it's okay to live a boring life. It's okay to not have all your hobbies monetized. It's okay to not have 10 businesses and then 2 podcasts and then 10 YouTube channels. It's okay to live a boring life. It's okay to have free time. You don't have to fill up every single free time you have with something so you feel productive. In fact, I consider free time a luxury. Don't try to fill up every free time with something. Don't try to have every slot filled so you can appear productive to others. Stop thinking that constant productivity equals your self-worth. Social media has normalized having 5 businesses at 25 and having no day off, the hustle culture, hustling and bustling all the time. But that is not normal. Seriously, it's okay to just have free time and not be productive. And this explains why young people are experiencing burnouts in their 20s. Honestly, it's fine to be free. It's okay to just have free time and enjoy your life and not be booked and busy every single time. Number 8 is being rich in your 20s. Social media paints a very vivid picture. If you're not a millionaire at 25, you are behind in life. But historically, most people actually acquire their wealth in their 40s into their 60s. Your 20s are your first decade as an adult, and just like your first decade as a child, that is between the age of 1 to 10, you didn't really know much. I want you to also think of your 20s as that. It's your first decade in adulthood. We don't expect you to know every single thing. 20s is the time to discover yourself and what you want out of life, not the time for you to be striving to become a millionaire. Don't put yourself under pressure. It's okay to be confused in your 20s or even struggle. That is perfectly normal. The people you see online, any millions in their 20s or even living large, are the outliers, not the norm. And the truth is, most of them already come from money. I don't think most people understand how many people out there have families helping them out with mortgages or even schooling or even basic life needs. Most of these people you see online flaunting money in their 20s have family backing them up. Online, we all want to appear as independent bosses, but the truth is that's not always the reality. Most people get help from parents or families. Number 9, looking perfect all the time. It's okay to have pores. It's okay to have acne. It's okay to have blemishes. It's okay to look like a human being. Human beings are not created to be perfect. We all have one fault or the other. It is perfectly normal, and that is what makes you human. Online, we have filters, editing, and even cosmetic normalization. You see people in their 20s getting Botox or even having surgeries to look more beautiful. You see people going through extreme body transformation even before they clock 30. These things are not as common as they are pushed. It's okay to not look like an Instagram filter in real life. It's normal to age. It's normal to have pores. It's normal to have stretch marks. It's normal to look like a human being. Honestly, that's all I can say. It's normal to look like a human being. Stop comparing yourself and your everyday body to the things you see online. Some of these people you see online already suffer from extreme body dysmorphia because all they do is try to look perfect and then perfect and perfect. And then eventually they realize that regardless of how many surgeries they get, they still don't look the way they appear in their brain. Like I said, it's okay to look human. Don't think that you have to look perfect 247. The next one is turning every hobby into a source of income. When it comes to hobbies, social media has normalized people saying don't do it for free, build a brand around this, monetize it. But that is not the reality for most people, and that should not even be the reality for you. Personally, I think some things should only exist purely for joy. You don't have to monetize every single thing that you like. You have a hobby or something that you like doing, you don't have to monetize that. It's okay to enjoy hobbies without making money from that, because at the end of the day, I still think it ties back to the hustle culture I mentioned earlier, where people think that they need to be booked and busy all the time. So if they're doing something, they still have to find a way to be productive with that. So if it's a hobby, they have to find a way to make that hobby productive by making money from it. And I don't think that's okay. When your hobby becomes a performance, the joy you get from that dies, which is why I say that personally, I think that some things should exist purely for the joy that they give you and not because of any other thing. The thing about social media is it did not only change the way we communicate with others, it also sort of distorted our reality, because for the first time we are seeing things that we would normally not see. In the past, you don't know what an everyday routine was for a billionaire or a millionaire, but then social media has brought that closeness that we're now comparing our life to these people and now trying to normalize the things they do as a new norm. It's okay to enjoy a simple life and not try to curate every single thing. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and do all the good things, and I'll see you guys in my next one.